Welcome. In this video I'm going to show you how you can perform a Fligner-Policello test with Microsoft Excel. This video will focus on how to obtain the output, not so much if you should be using this test or how exactly to interpret the output. In a separate video I'll show you how you can actually do this with my own stikpet add-in, which simply has a function that can give you the results. But in this video I'll show you how you can do it without any of those. I have my scores that I obtained from my category data in column A. There was 1 and 2 for female and male. Those were the only categories selected by the students. The opinion is also numerically coded for, where 1 represented far too little and 5 represented far too much. Now, the first thing to do is actually calculate so-called placement values, which is how many, so for this student, for example, scored a 1 or gave it a 1, and how many in the other category are actually below this one. Or if it's equal, we add a half. So as you can see, there's actually only 1 in the other category, that because these are in order, so that's why it gets a score of a half. This one has 2, so there's 1 that's actually below it, and there are 2 that are equal, so half of 2 equals a 1, so that's why we get 2 over there, etc. So we do this for all of them, and these are therefore our so-called placement values. So I'm calculating those here with this long formula. It's just using count ifs. Notice my system uses a semicolon to separate parameters. Yours might be using a comma. Then we determine the sum and average for each of the categories. So I'm simply doing a sum if for each of the 2 categories of those placement values. Of course, I also want the average, so I simply use average if to do the same thing. So this would be the same as this 88.5 divided by the number that we have actually, which is, I can see it here, count are 11. And we do that for both the categories. Then we determine the squared deviations for each category. So I'm doing that in column D. I'm simply saying, well, I take this value and then subtract the corresponding average. That's why there is an if in there, and square the result. So that's why that one's in there. Then we simply sum all of those up to get the sum of square deviations. So this is again a sum if, but now based on those squared differences. Then finally we can calculate the z value. As you might notice, the formula is this one over here, but we have everything we need. So we have that ny and nx. We have those sum of square deviations, and we have those means. So it's a matter of just following along the formula and using the square root function. We can then use for the p-value simply the norm as dist. Take the absolute value of this one, cumulative set to true. That gives us always a left tail probability above 0.05. Therefore we subtract it from 1 and then multiply the result with 2. In this case it's about 1.8, and this e minus 0.5 means we need to divide it by 10 to the power of 5. So this is going to be extremely small, lower than the usual threshold of 0.05. So therefore we would speak of a significant result and say that the 2 categories think somewhat significantly different on the mixed number of activities. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.